You know what makes me happy? Turning a corner in town and seeing a burst of unexpected color on what had been a dull, dreary wall. Not a billboard, not an ad, just graffiti. Yeah, I said it. I love graffiti. And no, I don't mean the kind that's just someone tagging their name in messy, black outlined letters. I'm talking about those vibrant, expressive, bold works of art that somehow make cracked concrete feel like a canvas. Today I'm taking you on a little ride through the neighborhoods of Yogyakarta with photos I took on an adventure with my friend Reza. We hunted down street art, took loads of pics, and had an absolute blast soaking in the unexpected creativity splashed across this city. Hi, I'm Kate, and while I'm usually drawn to a different kind of art, there's something about graffiti that just lights me up. I love it. Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the boldness, or maybe it's just the joy of seeing a boring wall turned into something full of wild color and expression. A few days ago, I spent the day roaming Yogyakarta with my friend Reza, snapping photos of some incredible graffiti. And now I can't wait to show you the ones I love and even some of the ones I don't love at all. Now, I know graffiti gets a bad rap. People often see it as vandalism, as something that ruins a neighborhood, but I see the complete opposite. To me, graffiti adds character. It adds soul. It says, hey, someone was here. Someone had something to say, and they weren't afraid to say it out loud in bold color. That kind of energy, yeah, I love it. It makes a place feel alive. The thing is, I've never been quite sure why I'm so drawn to it. I mean, my own painting style is very different. Usually dogs or people, although now I'm having fun learning a bit about painting abstract style. And let me tell you, painting abstract is far more difficult than painting realistic. Anyhow, but graffiti. Graffiti, on the other hand, is often bold, brash, in your face. But maybe that's part of the appeal. Maybe it's the contrast that makes it so very loud and speaking to me. Maybe I need a little dose of rebellious color in my life, and graffiti serves it up with a wink and a swagger. Yogyakarta is full of graffiti, not just tucked away in sketchy alleys either. No, it's right out there on the streets, loud and proud, on bridges, on shop shutters, on the sides of abandoned buildings, actually just about everywhere. And what struck me as we roamed the city was how varied the styles were. Some were cartoonish and funny. Those weren't my favorites. Others were geometric. A few were clearly political. And then there were those that just exploded with color and made no sense at all, but still made me stop in my tracks. You know, when I stand in front of some of these pieces, I feel like I'm in an outdoor gallery, an outdoor art gallery, one that's free, open to all, and constantly evolving. And you know what? The paintings don't need a fancy frame or a white-walled gallery to be considered art. It just is. Raw, immediate, unfiltered. Isn't that refreshing? And there's something else. As an older woman who spent over 40 years living in Indonesia, I've seen a lot of change. I've seen cities modernize, malls go up, and old neighborhoods get paved over in the name of progress. But graffiti, it resists all that. It says, this wall still belongs to the people. There's a kind of beautiful defiance in that, and I admire it. Some people might call it rebellious. Maybe it is, but rebellion isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's the only way people can express what's going on in their hearts. And honestly, when I see a wall covered in messages, shapes, colors, it feels like I'm listening in on a conversation, one that's emotional, funny, honest, and unfiltered. I might not actually understand what's being talked about, but there's something very human about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every piece of graffiti is profound. Some of it is just playful. Some of it makes you laugh. Some of it makes no sense at all. And some of it is downright ugly. Yeah. But that's just like life, right? Graffiti is messy and chaotic and surprising, just like people. But let's talk about color. Oh, color. In a world where so many buildings are painted beige or gray, graffiti feels like a party, a visual shout of joy or rage or love, whatever the artist was feeling in that moment. And these colors don't whisper, they sing, they dance, they clash. They dare you to take a look. And I do look every single time. As we drove around, pulling over every time one of us spotted something interesting, I found myself more and more excited. I was like a kid on a treasure hunt. Oh, stop, look at that one. I must have said that a dozen times, maybe more. But can you blame me? Really? Can you blame me? These murals and scrawls tell stories. Sometimes they're personal. Sometimes they reflect social issues. Sometimes they're just there to be beautiful. But they all have a pulse. They all say, this is what I'm feeling. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. And that kind of bold honesty, it's rare. I think what graffiti gives me is a sense of connection. I've peeked into the artist's world for a moment. I've seen what moved them, what made them pick up a spray can in the middle of the night and leave a mark. And honestly, at a time when so many of our interactions are online and filtered and polished, that kind of raw expression that you see in graffiti feels like a breath of fresh air. I also love that graffiti isn't precious. It won't last forever. It'll be rained on, painted over, washed away, even covered up by some stickers. I find something powerful in that. It reminds me to stop waiting for the perfect time to express myself, to get my paints out and do some painting. One of the dilemmas of being an artist is that we often procrastinate for one reason or another. Just waiting for the right idea to make itself known, or the right time when we're in the right mood. But when I look at graffiti, I tell myself, be more spontaneous, Kate. Just do it. Splash paint on the canvas. Live out loud, even if it's temporary. So yeah, some people might look at graffiti and see a mess. But I look at it and I see magic. I see color where there was once drabness. I see art in the wild. And if loving that makes me odd, I'll wear that label proudly. I know graffiti isn't everyone's cup of tea, but for me, it's a reminder that creativity refuses to be boxed in. It tells me that art finds a way, even when no one gives it permission, that expression matters, and that sometimes the most powerful statements are the ones spray painted on the side of an old wall to liven up the neighborhood. So here's to the artist who picked up a can and left behind a piece of their soul on concrete. To the people who brighten my day without even knowing it. To the walls that tell stories if you're willing to stop and take a look. And here's to taking more walks or rides to find unexpected beauty when you turn a corner and come face to face with a bright, colorful wall of graffiti. Because sometimes the best galleries don't have admission fees. They're just out in the open for everyone to see. Yeah. Thanks for coming along on this little graffiti tour with me. I'd love to know, what do you think about graffiti? Do you have a favorite piece you've seen somewhere? Do you hate it? Drop me a comment and tell me your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this colorful little journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more unexpected delights from everyday life in Indonesia. Bye for now. See you next time.